And we are live, man. And we just finished watching the debut of the Alfa Romeo C43. Dude, what did you think?
Honest opinion,
Yeah? I mean, no, lie to
uh,
me, please.
as a Alpha Julia owner, as an Alpha family, I own Julia. It's in my garage right now.
Yeah.
The car, I mean, the livery doesn't really show Alpha. It's
Mm,
only if it's the rear wing.
okay. Yeah, fair.
So, I mean, it kind of looks a little bit like the Ferrari last year. I'm not gonna lie. Uh, yeah, a little bit. So, but overall, the presentation it's good. It's better
Yeah.
than what Red Bull and Williams had.
Yeah, I gotta say, like, that was how a presentation really
Shoot.
should be done.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
All professional, all business.
yeah.
Like, I wish they would have spent more time with the car.
Yeah. I don't know, like for every like so far we have Red Bull, we have Williams, we have Haas, we have Alpha. I don't know
Mhm.
why all of them are not spending time with the car.
I mean, I'm sure it's, like, they don't wanna give away any of their secrets to their competitors, but, I mean, look at this slideshow we have, you know? Like, it's not like there isn't a complete image library of the
Yeah,
thing somewhere online,
yeah,
you know? So, I don't get it either. Like, I really wish they could spend like, I remember when they showed off the Mercedes last year,
hmm,
they actually spent a fair amount of time with the
yeah.
car.
Walking around the car and then just talk
Yes,
about the detail of the car.
exactly.
Yeah,
And these sort of like little teasers of showing the car for like 2 minutes essentially on screen are, I don't know, they're kinda lame if you ask me,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know? Um, I feel a little differently. I really dig the livery for the most
Hmm.
part. I do wish that the, whatchamacallit, the four-leaf clover was a bit larger, you know?
I was gonna say I do wish. I mean, I'm not this. I don't have any opinions. I don't have any. Nothing's wrong with the color of the livery. It's
Yeah,
just it's
yeah,
missing the car. The body itself is missing the
I
iconic green.
yeah, yeah. It would have been nice if right where the red and the black met, if there was, like, a nice thin strip of
Yeah.
green.
Oh, I was gonna say even like a big block of green, but
Yeah,
leave the black apart. So having the black as a separate of the color. So
yeah,
yeah, like it's missing the iconic green because I have seen the green in actual car in quadrifolio. It's
right.
amazing. It's damn amazing. It's the metallic, it's shiny, and it's got that um aggressiveness to it. But
True.
in the livery today that we're seeing, this it's missing that, and especially it's Formula One car. You need that aggressiveness.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I definitely I don't disagree that they could have brought some of the green into the livery, you know? Uh, you're getting the white through all of the branding and the sponsorship, right? So, like, even a little strip of green
Yeah,
could have been really nice.
or even just paint the green on the mirror,
Yeah, yeah,
or on the mirror, and then maybe tiny bit on the front what is that called, the front wing cover on the top of that wheel.
Yeah, yeah.
That will
Now,
make the car a lot more stand out.
now that being said, there is definitely some interesting kind of consistent elements that we're seeing between this car and the other cars.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
um, like here, we're seeing another four element front
Yeah,
wing, some very interesting aerodynamic shaping
yeah,
of the levels of the
yeah.
wing. This is the first one also that we're seeing between the first and the second tier of the wing, some of these vertical little
Hmm.
winglets
Yeah,
uh, in it, which I find very, very interesting.
yeah,
The center section of the car looks fairly similar to what we saw
yeah,
before
yeah,
with the C42. So there's not like a ton of new shaping that I feel is happening here.
hmm.
The under tray, I'm sure, is completely new. But these
I
volumes,
was gonna say those engine cover in the back.
yeah,
It's quite interesting.
it is. It is. And
Yeah,
I mean, aside from being attractive looking, it definitely feels like they massaged the rear of the car
yeah,
quite a bit.
yep, yep,
Uh, like Jan was saying during the broadcast, they put in a fair amount of effort into the rear of the car,
yeah,
particularly around the rear axles,
yeah,
and I feel that it shows.
yeah,
Honestly,
yeah. I mean, it looked
uh,
good, to say the
yeah.
least. It looks really nice.
Let me see. Is this? Yeah. So here's
Yeah,
the C42.
that's the last year.
Right. So you can see, particularly in the rear, there's quite a dramatic difference, actually,
Yeah, yeah.
going back and forth. I
Hmm.
mean, the C43 is looking nice.
It's looking promising.
It is. It really is. And there definitely are some substantial changes, between the two vehicles.
Yeah,
So I'm very excited to see what this is going to translate to in the track.
not on the track.
You
Yeah.
know, um, objectively, I think it's a beautiful car.
Hmm.
Really, like the guy was saying, a beautiful car is a fast car, and that's true, right? Like fighter jets are sexy,
Yeah,
like categorically speaking, but they're sexy because they're purposeful, not
mm,
because they're designed to be sexy,
yeah,
and that's very true of Formula One cars as well. Um, Aside from the aesthetic in general, I like that what they did with the wheel covers.
mm,
I think it's a nice little like pop of color
yeah,
to do that red
yeah.
here on the wheel covers.
Hmm.
That could have also been an opportunity for them to do some green.
I was gonna say like
Yeah.
shiny green, and I don't know. The whole car is missing that green. It's
Mm.
yeah. It's missing that green that the Alfa Romeo is known for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other than that, I don't have much to say. Um, I just want to see on track to see the winter testing,
Yeah.
Barcelona and Bahrain. I mean, we know Barcelona and Bahrain track is, especially Bahrain, is quite a tricky track.
Yes.
So, and also by having that engine cover on the in the back, that means
Mhm.
they probably have different placement of the air vent, the
Yeah.
intake. So
And the
that will
whole
affect,
cooling system. Yeah.
yeah, and so that will affect, especially in Bahrain, because the uh the sandstorm, the wind and all the
Yeah.
dust. So we'll see how the car change, how the car performs.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the things that's very clear to me about this particular car, and it or and I don't know that it necessarily translates, but they went with such a minimal approach to the livery. I am
Mhm.
curious about its weight.
I
You know
mean,
what I
you
mean?
can. I mean, we've seen this phenomenon last year since they
Precisely.
introduced the new weight regulations. A lot of teams just strip down paint just
Right.
using the exposed carbon fiber, and this is what it is. It's exposed carbon fiber in the rear,
Exactly.
in the front wing, in the rear wing, and the side pod.
Exactly, exactly. And that's what made me think about it, right? I mean, look at how large
Yeah,
the sections are where they have zero paint, you know?
yeah.
It's the entire side pods,
Hmm.
the entire side and I mean every like large element of the car.
Everything that is not red, it's
Yeah,
basically
yeah,
carbon
it's
fiber.
carbon fiber, right?
It's yeah. So yeah, it's very interesting the way they approach things.
Mhm. And that just makes I mean, especially after we saw the Williams, which seems to have a
Very
very
large paint
yeah, a very, very
color.
cohesive, like, full vehicle,
Yeah,
you know, livery,
yeah.
right? And even Haas has like, a lot of the surface area covered. In
Yeah.
comparison, Alfa Romeo is doing very minimal vehicle, like, body coverage with paint.
Like I am like the reason why I say it looks a lot like Ferrari is because
Mhm.
Ferrari has the same approach last year.
Mm.
And also if you look at the way they scope the side pod, I mean
Yeah.
we all know Ferrari has that hot top side pod.
Yeah. The hot tub sci-fi.
Yeah. And but this time it's actually see it looks similar.
It's not too different.
Yeah.
I'd be really curious to see them side by side.
Yeah, yeah. And also if you look at the front
Mhm.
wing, the the shape of that front, the whole front wing, it looks like the last year's
Yeah.
it
There
looks like last year's Ferrari,
a bit,
right?
yeah.
So I mean it's not surprised because they are partners. They are like
Right.
sister, brother and sister team. They share a lot of DNA, different they share a lot of, you know, engines and data and stuff.
Technology and
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's looking promising, I gotta say. So
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I'm
Absolutely.
and like I was telling Sharif today, I feel a little bit sad because Alpha is leaving Formula One. I believe it's the end of this year, this season.
I don't know the specifics, you know, of this. I'm very like when is Audi supposed to take
I mean,
over,
it's
you know?
2026, but I don't know if it's actual 2026.
Mm, okay.
And as a Alpha owner, I'm sad.
Fair enough. I mean, I don't blame you for feeling that way.
So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. I don't know. It's definitely interesting. It's definitely interesting. This
one
should
thing
be
that yeah,
uh-huh.
one thing that I keep on looking at is the bottom of that side pod. It's crazy. It's a crazy big gap.
Yeah, yeah, but I believe if I remember the C42
It's the same.
was the same. Like if we look at it from the front, it had a very similar dramatic
Mm. Oh,
step
that one.
down.
Maybe the front. This yeah.
Yeah, it's
There's
still
one.
not showing the front as much.
Yeah.
This looks like an altered image
Yeah.
versus reality, but yeah, if I remember, there was a pretty dramatic step down um,
Yeah.
before.
Hmm.
I could be wrong though, but yeah, you can kind of see
Yeah.
it here in this particular image from when they were doing testing. There's a, I mean, it seems like they've closed the inlet.
Hmm.
Um,
A lot more.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is an interesting feature. It's almost like an extreme Coke bottle
Yeah.
kind,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
flare.
Hmm.
But all of it obviously is for
The aerodynamic.
controlling the air.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, well, excuse me, folks.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's 2 o'clock here in
yeah,
the morning. So
2 o'clock in the morning, and we were up at 4:30 this morning for
for the William
the
for
Williams
for
debut.
19 minutes, William.
19 minutes. That still kind of pisses me off. Even though like I was starting to get a little tired at the end of this one. This one was about what, 40 minutes,
Yeah, and then there's a lot of information actually
Yes.
to unveil with the
Yes,
car, with the drivers, with their conditions, how they train, and how they even drink the coffee.
precisely.
Gosh,
Yeah, no, this was how the
the proper,
debuts should
yeah,
be done.
yeah,
Really, Williams was pathetically short. Red Bull was a waste of time.
yeah.
Like if
And
I'm
Has doesn't even
100%
have
honest.
a presentation.
Yeah, yeah. No, honestly, I would much rather not have a presentation than sit through what
Yeah,
Red Bull did again.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
they spent 2 minutes on the freaking car, like literally 2 minutes, and the rest was just a branding exercise. Which,
yeah. It's
dude, we don't care. Like, why conflate that with Formula One when it has nothing to do with Formula One?
yeah.
You know, Ugh. I wanted to smack the heads of Red Bull together. I couldn't even blame Christian Horner for it. He was just like a puppet in the show. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yep.
But man,
Well, I
like
mean, like this presentation is much better. So
it was great. Yeah,
yeah,
honestly, in the
yeah,
grand scheme of things, like Alfa Romeo knocked it out of the park.
yeah,
Finally, a
yeah.
good
A
presentation.
proper presentation.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. All right, Joe. Any final thoughts on the car? Any
uh,
last opinions?
no, not really. I mean, it's Alpha. It's my brand. I
You
mean,
just wish the livery had some more green in it, which
yeah,
I
yeah,
can't argue,
yeah.
honestly.
So, but other than that, the car looks promising,
It
and
does.
we'll just have to see on track. And if there's any purposing or anything that's wrong,
Oh
ooh.
man. Yeah, yeah.
And I'm pretty sure the car is not gonna look the same throughout the whole year. It's gonna be
Sure, it's
changing,
gonna evolve a
upgrading,
little bit here and there.
but it from the way the presentation goes, the way they talk about the car, it sounds very promising. Sounds like they have an actual good base of the car to
Yeah.
get started with. So
One thing I do want to touch on before we kind of wrap things up here is the fact that Jan he said something that I find very interesting. He said that the phenomenon of porpoising was something that you couldn't avoid, that it would happen regardless.
mhm,
And you ultimately just try to push the transition point like further and further away to the
right,
point where like you can get out the maximum out of the car without ever reaching that transition point,
mhm,
right? And that concerns me as far as like the regulations are concerned. Like,
right.
how did these guys who developed the regulations not foresee that in the era of ground effect racing,
I mean,
right?
like I guess for them, for the FIA, for Formula One government body, when they
Yeah,
develop the new generation Formula One car, they don't have track testing,
true, true, and like
and
it's all
they only have,
simulator.
yeah, they only have simulator, they only have wind tunnel, and that's what all the teams had.
Yeah,
They don't know that they were gonna have purposing issues.
but
Like,
it's just interesting to me that like now we know that.
yeah,
Like, okay, so what are we doing about that? And what's even more interesting to me is I wonder if the fan car concept from the old days would solve this issue,
mm,
like completely. Now, granted, the fan car has some fundamental limitations. You need to have a skirt that makes contact with the ground at all times and yada, 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 right? But Gordon Murray has shown that you can integrate a fan into a car that isn't stuck to the ground,
right.
and
And
still
remember,
have positive effects on the
yeah,
aerodynamics.
and remember that Lotus back in the day,
Yeah.
it's the first ground effect car that
Hmm.
is that they actually figure out a way to eliminate bouncing, as we
Right.
speak. So I don't know. I don't know how. I mean, it's probably because the regulations is different and the weight of the car is different, the body is different, the structure is different. So
Yeah.
it's actually having the purpose and issues. But we'll see. I am actually very interesting to see how each teams handle the new generation
Yeah.
purposing, so-called purposing.
I'm definitely curious to see, man, like if anybody is going to integrate or petition to integrate some sort of like fan concept down the road by like 2026, because this whole issue of porpoising and trying to push the limit of the
of the
transition point
Yeah,
to porpoising um, is kind of ridiculous, to be honest. To be at this level of motorsports and to have this issue kind of shocks me. It
right.
feels so amateurish, to
Yeah,
be quite honest.
yeah.
And I know the teams are doing the very best that they can within the regulations, but if they're doing their very best and they can't solve the issue with their millions and millions of dollars of development, then the regulations need to
Need to
accommodate some
change.
new
Yeah,
solutions,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
it's the only logical conclusion that
I
that
mean,
can
look
happen.
at Mercedes last year.
Right.
Though it's the one and only team that is been affected by purposing the worst. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
like the FIA or the Formula One governing body needs to take a consideration of if that purposing issue is still there, the car needs to change from the
Yes.
ground up. From
The formula needs to be
Yeah,
adjusted
yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
Yeah. New made, man, I don't necessarily disagree with you with the fan, but I mean if you had fan for the entire grid is what I'm saying. Like no one team would have that advantage exclusively,
Hmm.
you know? So I don't know. I do think that like we need to, again, if porpoising seems to persist, because we're going to have another 3 years of this formula before it changes, right?
Right,
And
right.
theoretically, we want to continue going down this route of ground effect in order to maintain competitiveness on the grid, right? And close wheel to wheel racing. That's the whole point that we went down this pathway.
Hmm.
Then if it's not being successful at the car level, right? Then it needs to be addressed, and there needs to be solutions that are at least offered to the teams to kind of move forward. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
that
100%
that's
agree.
yeah, that's my contention. But we'll see. I mean, from Jan's perspective, he said that they really gave a lot of effort to the floor here with the Alpha and the sculpting of the rear. So fingers crossed, man, that the Alpha performs.
Nothing is said until you see on track, because that this thing haven't even get on track yet. So
Yeah,
everything just right here.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate you joining us for our immediate post-race react, or not post-race. I'm clearly
We
tired.
have been dreaming about racing.
Yeah, we've definitely been dreaming about racing and been awake since 4 o'clock in the morning. So, uh, but yeah, thank you for tuning in to see the our reaction to Alfa Romeo and their C43 debut. You know, very exciting stuff. And what's the next one coming up for us, Joe?
Uh, Let me check. I think it's AlphaTauri.
And isn't it like, is it tomorrow?
No, not tomorrow. 11th.
Oh, okay, okay. So we have a few days, but we're doing
Hold
live
on.
reactions immediately after every
Actually,
single.
let me check.
Yeah.
Uh, Let me check. Give me a
I know
sec.
next week we're gonna have a bunch back to back.
So yeah, it's AlphaTauri, February 11th, so which
Okay.
is Saturday, and then after that it's Aston Martin and McLaren at the same day, the 13th,
Okay.
and then the 14th, 15th, and 16th is Ferrari, Mercedes, and Alpine.
Everybody's leaving it to the very end, man.
Yep, yep, yep. So that's the schedule. Next week, you guys are gonna see more of us
Yeah,
reacting.
a whole lot more. Sounds good, man. Alrighty,
All
Joe.
right, I need to go to sleep.
We both really need
Yeah,
to go to sleep, man.
it's like what 2:30 right now.
Yeah, I'm definitely starting to fade. But thank you guys again for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next one. All right.
Peace.
Peace.